Again, just to set the scene, I wanted to let folks know I'm at the 28th Avenue exit right off of Interstate 35. This is the view if you are looking southbound toward downtown Fort Worth. And again, you talked about those road closures, Shashara. Northbound, the traffic seems to be pretty wide open. I wonder if a lot of people are just avoiding this area in general today, just trying to stay away from whatever slowdowns there might be. But you mentioned the highway still being closed as this investigation continues. Certainly a lot of folks saw this accident yesterday, and maybe the first question they had was, hey, why weren't these roads treated? As we get over to Chris Oddie this morning, that is a question that we need to answer. Not only how much treatment had been done, but what effect did it have on that pileup?
Yeah, Mark, a lot of work to be done. The cleanup of this crash site will not be complete until sometime this morning at the very earliest. You can see they got the big lights out here so they can work. Also, the investigation will likely take weeks. One of the things they will investigate, how and when was the highway pre-treated leading up to this tragedy on Thursday morning. This is a managed tollway that we're talking about, the express lanes operated by an agency called the North Tarrant Express. It's a public-private partnership. They say that salt trucks treated the roads 2 days earlier on Tuesday and also did spot treatment in the time between then and the crash. Cell phone video from people taken on I-35 showed those cars just come sliding down one after another, crashing into the pileup, some of them huge semi-trucks. It left some drivers trapped, injured, dealing with the effects of hypothermia, and 6 dead. Dozens more taken to hospitals. As of last night, we were told that less than 20 were still being hospitalized, but there will be a lot of investigation into every action that led to this. One of the state representatives for the area, Ramon Romero, was tweeting about the factors that led to this, not only how North Tarrant Express prepared the roads, but the overall design of the express lanes. He said the design without a shoulder is a complete failure, and the procedures for ensuring proper maintenance are a failure. He says that he prays it will serve as a testament as to why public-private partnerships are for profit and not safety. A couple of other disadvantages in play here. The elevated surface, you can see the highway, it's on the pilings, it's not insulated by the ground. That's why we always preach, be very careful on bridges and overpasses, but also for the southbound side, they are coming down at a little bit of a decline, so they're coming downhill. If you're carrying your momentum on ice, that just makes it all the more difficult to stop. So just a lot of factors led to this recipe for disaster. Mark, back to you.
Yeah, you're right, Chris. And having driven that stretch of roadway in those express lanes, you get in those lanes and there's no exit lanes. That's both a feature and a flaw. It's a feature because it helps that traffic have to avoid all the other traffic as people try to get past downtown Fort Worth. But it's also a flaw, which means if you came upon this yesterday, you had nowhere to go. You were stuck. So you hit the brakes, and that's how that pileup got a lot worse. Of course, they will continue to look at that aspect and see how much it contributed to the pileup, and we will continue to keep you updated. In a great way for you to stay informed is to download the WFAA app on your phone. Whether you have an Android phone or an iPhone, just go to your app store and you can download it there, and we'll send you alerts about weather, about this story, and other breaking news whenever it occurs. Kara, back to you.
Thank you, Mark. So we know there were several reports of black ice throughout the morning all over North Texas, with temperatures still below freezing. That's going to be a concern for the next couple of days. Alex Rozier joins us live in Dallas. And Alex, what are we looking at this morning compared to yesterday?
Hi, Kara, good morning. Yeah, I think compared to yesterday, I think things are going all right. I want to give you a live look on 75 behind me. You can see traffic's moving along nicely, and this has been pretty much the experience that we've seen since we got on the roads in the 3 o'clock hour early this morning. We've had the opportunity to drive some of the main interstates, 35, 30, and the big thing that we're seeing is not so much the main interstates, it's the off-ramps, it's the on-ramps that have been a bit more slick. But when you look at what happened yesterday in Fort Worth, comparatively this morning, things are moving along nicely. However, I will tell you, it is bitter cold out here. I have 5 layers on. This wind is ripping hard. It is cold. So if you're going to head out, be sure to prepare for the conditions. And if you are going to head on the roads, be sure to give yourself a little extra time. But let's send it into Tashara, who is going to have an update on what else has happened on the roadways here in DFW.
All right, thank you, Alex. What I do want to focus on here, especially since Greg has also mentioned that this weekend you might run into some issues out there on the roadways. Driving in those winter weather conditions, drive to the conditions. Of course, that means reduce your speed, of course, and increase travel distance between you and other vehicles. Be considerate, share the road with others. I know we say this all the time, but I think after what we witnessed yesterday, we need to make sure that we're being considerate of others as we continue to share the roads. Drive with your headlights on day and night. Other things, if you do happen to slide or have an accident, gently turn into that slide. Be aware of other vehicles, and of course, never exit your vehicle on an icy bridge. Just a few tips for you as you get ready to head out, if you have to head out this weekend, but I certainly recommend staying indoors. All right, Greg, I want to send it to you. I can just hear in our reporters' voices, they sound like they are freezing out there.
And it's going to get even colder, so that's what we want you to be prepared for as we get into the weekend. We've been talking about the precip chances, and we'll get more on that. We'll talk more about that coming up. But as we look at the highs getting into next week, we're not going to be getting out of the 20s on Sunday. Going into Monday, we probably won't get out of the teens. So we're going to be setting records for the coldest high temperatures as well as we get into next week. And then those overnight lows, we're talking about some lower teens and single digits. Sunday night going into Monday, we're talking about a low somewhere around 11 above. And you see that record 15 and then single digits on Monday. Monday night going into Tuesday, we could be around 7. And the last time we saw single digits, it's been a while now. The last time we dipped into the teens, we have to go back to 2018. That was back in January. And the last time we saw single digits, February the 4th, 1996. So it has been a while since it's been that cold across the area, and the last temperature below zero way back in 1989. So yes, we are talking about the coldest temperatures we've seen in quite some time early next week, Kara. We'll have more for you coming up. Now back to you.
Whew, surprising to hear. All right, thank you, Greg. Okay, the cold weather here to stay, as you heard, so that means more icy roads. We're going to talk about car prep coming up. We need a reminder we don't deal with this that often. Good morning, Kennedale and all of North Texas. So this morning we want to uplift our neighbors who were impacted by the devastating crash. A lot of people talking about it this morning. So what we want to do is send the love to Fort Worth. Share a message, use the hashtag #IamUp, like this one from Jesus. We are in Duncanville. We're praying for those affected in Fort Worth. You are in our prayers. Thank you, Jesus. Use the hashtag #IamUp. You're up with Daybreak.